Good morning, everyone. Kim and I are super excited to spend just a couple of minutes with you this morning in the Word and encouraging one another. We're probably, a month and a half into shelter in place right now. And I'm just going to throw this out there that if you're a hairstylist and you want to make a few extra bucks, my side gate is unlocked.
Just watch for the cats.
Yeah. Today is also the National Day of Prayer across the nation, too. And so it's a good reminder for us that there's a lot to be praying about and that there is power in prayer. So let's be reminded to be doing that throughout the day today as well. But the passage we're going to share today is actually out of the book of Lamentations. And the key verses from this book are actually found in chapter 3, specifically 19 through 24. And here we see that the writer is reflecting on a great affliction, and on the onset of that, he's also recognizing God's great faithfulness and his love for him as well. So let's read this passage together.
It says, "Remember my affliction and my wanderings, the wormwood and the gall. My soul continually remembers it and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in him."
Yeah, so just a couple of things that came to my mind through this passage, and then Kim and I are going to share a song at the end. But we see first that the writer is actually asking the Lord to remember this affliction. Wormwood actually means bitterness, to remember this bitterness, this sense of hopelessness that was experienced. And in doing this, he is also reflecting on this himself. And so when I read that, some things that just came to my mind was maybe a question was, so what was my affliction and how should I reflect? And it just brought to my attention that it's God's desire for us as believers to every day to meditate and consider the fact that without the cross and what Christ did for us, we would be hopelessly lost. And we're to be reminded about the power that we have as believers and that it comes from Christ alone. And despite the devastation of sin, God actually created a pathway of restoration. And so with that in mind, it means that our past hurts, our failures, our poor decisions don't define us anymore. And so with this reminder, it actually recalibrates our minds on how we react to circumstances in the present. So then the writer continues, and he says, "My soul continually remembers it and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope." So this reminds us that no matter what our current circumstances may be, no matter how bleak things may look, we can actually re-engage the truth that we stand upon and be reminded that God is faithful. There's a great old hymn that I love that says that we're prone to wander, and it's so true. That's why the Bible says that we need to reflect on these things on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis, depending on our situation and our circumstances. A friend of mine that was in the military said that during times of warfare on the battlefield, commanders would have to remind the soldiers of the mission on a regular basis. And it's true, when you're in a firefight, when you're in the heat of battle, it's easy to lose focus. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a hike and thought you got lost.
Yes.
That sinking feeling that it's like, oh my gosh, it's panic. And what do we do so well? Kim's wondering where the food is. But what we do is we panic and we start running all over the place. But actually, they say, don't move from your location. Sit down, get a drink of water, pull your map out, your compass, and begin to work the problem. And when we do, then all of a sudden, oh yeah, God is present. Yes, God is faithful. And so this is what's happening. The writer is then being reminded that God's love never ceases, that his mercies are endless for those who seek him. They're new every morning. I love that, because what it says is that every morning when we wake up with breath in our lungs is an opportunity to re-engage God in a fresh way, and to experience his faithfulness. And then finally, the writer comes to the conclusion that the Lord is my portion. I will hope in him. You know, it's a very dangerous thing when you lose hope, because you get to a point where you don't believe that anything could ever change. And you know, that's exactly what the enemy wants you to believe, but we know that it's not true. I can't tell you how many times I've experienced that in my life. And perhaps that's you today. Perhaps you've lost hope, or you're losing hope because of the past. Or maybe it's things that are going on in your current circumstances. Whatever it is, we want to sing this hymn today because it encapsulates everything we just talked about. And I want you to just take away 3 things from this devotion today, and as we sing this song. The first one is, remember who you are and who you belong to. You're not defined by your past. You are defined by God's grace. He has given you a new identity, and it isn't something that we earn, but it's something that is a free gift to us. Number 2 is, I want to encourage you, let the truths of God's faithfulness empower you in your walk today, because he walks with you. He walks with us in our journey, and he wants you to succeed. And then lastly is, I want you to strengthen your hope, not in your circumstances, not in worldly things, but I want you to be strengthened in your hope of your faith, in the hope of God's faithfulness, and in the promise that our future is actually secure in him. So as we sing this song, I want you to listen to the words, and I want you to be reminded of these truths today, and our prayer is that it will strengthen you today.
Amen.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies Be blessed today. We're praying for you. We love you. God bless you.